The Galactic Security Council had many rules. Most were complicated. One was very simple. If a human says the words, "Hold my beer," all stations must lock down immediately. No questions, no delay. Threat level, maximum. The rules sounded strange to most species, even childish, but it existed for a reason, and today it was about to be used again. Far from the bright core worlds, on a cold mining colony at the edge of known space, alarms were already screaming. Inside Reactor Chamber 7, blue plasma lightning struck the walls like angry snakes. The gravity core shook violently, metal beams bent under pressure. Radiation levels were rising fast. Alien engineers moved in panic. Their 4 hands worked at control panels, typing commands, shouting numbers. "It is overheating! Cooling systems failed! Core stability at 12%! The alien supervisor, Director Kthal, felt his breathing tubes tighten. His species did not handle stress well. Evacuation had already been ordered. Shuttle bays were filling. If the gravity reactor exploded, the entire colony would collapse into itself. Thousands would die. And orbiting above the planet, automated defense satellites quietly began tracking the unstable energy spike. In the middle of the chaos stood one human, Technician Daniel Hayes. He was not shouting, he was not running, he was staring at the reactor, watching it, thinking. Sweat rolled down his face, but his hands were steady. Director Kthal rushed toward him. "Human, you must evacuate! This reactor cannot be saved!" Daniel did not answer right away. He tilted his head slightly, like he was solving a puzzle. Another explosion shook the chamber. A burst of plasma scorched the ceiling. Stability dropped to 9%. Kthal's voice shook. "We are abandoning the core!" Daniel finally spoke, calm, quiet. "Yeah, I don't think so." He looked at the shaking machine again, then he slowly removed the safety gloves from his hands. The alien engineers stopped moving. One of the other humans nearby realized what was happening. His eyes widened. "No, don't!" Daniel turned to him. Without drama, without fear, he handed him a metal drink container. "Hold my beer." Silence. Complete silence. Even the alien engineers did not understand the words fully, but Director Kthal did, because every space station database had one warning file. Human phrase, "Hold my beer," meaning extreme reckless action imminent. Probability of impossible outcome, high. Collateral damage, unknown. Kthal's skin turned pale. His hand shook as he activated his emergency communicator. "He said it!" That was all he needed to say. In orbit, the defense grid received the coded message. Instantly, red lights activated across 3 battlecruisers. Engines powered up. Shield arrays began charging. Long-range scanners expanded outward. Across the sector, automated systems shifted into combat readiness. The last time the phrase had been recorded, an asteroid belt had been turned into a weapon. The time before that, a failed star drive had become a new, faster-than-light engine. Every time humans said those words, something dangerous happened and something impossible followed. Back in Reactor Chamber 7, Daniel walked toward the unstable core. Radiation sirens screamed louder. Plasma lightning struck only meters from him. Director Kthal whispered in horror, "What is he doing?" Daniel stepped onto the central platform. He looked at the reactor like a man about to challenge a wild animal, and he smiled slightly, because humans did not always run from danger. Sometimes they got curious, and when humans get curious, the galaxy locks down. Years earlier, the galaxy did not fear humans. They laughed at them. Humans were smaller than most warrior species. They had no natural armor, no claws, no sharp teeth, no venom. Their skin tore easily, their bones broke easily. They even needed protective suits in space. To the galaxy, humans looked fragile,
soft, weak. Many species believed humans would depend on stronger allies to survive. They were wrong, because humans had something rare. They did not fear risk. They did not freeze when danger appeared. Sometimes they smiled at it. The first official Hold My Beer incident happened 32 standard years ago. It was during a pirate attack in the Talren trade corridor. The corridor was busy that day. Cargo ships from 5 different species were moving through peaceful space. Then the pirates arrived. Black ships with heavy weapons, fast, organized, ruthless. Within minutes, merchant vessels were burning. Alien defense ships tried to fight back, but the pirates had better guns and stronger shields. Commanders ordered retreat. "Fall back! Save who you can!" Panic spread through open channels. Escape pods launched, ships scattered. It was chaos. Among the fleeing vessels was an old human cargo ship, the Dust Runner. It was not built for war. Its weapons were small, its shields were weak, its hull was already damaged from mining work. Inside the cockpit sat Captain Elias Ward, human, calm. He watched the battle on his cracked display screen. He saw alien ships running. He saw civilians trapped between pirate cruisers. He saw a young transport ship with no engines left, drifting helplessly. His co-pilot shouted, "Captain, we have to jump! Our drive is overheating!" Captain Ward did not answer right away. He studied the field ahead. Asteroids, hundreds of them, fast-moving rocks spinning in unpredictable patterns. No sane pilot would enter that field during combat. It was suicide. The co-pilot noticed the captain's eyes. "No, don't even think about it." Ward slowly reached down. He picked up a metal can from beside his chair. He handed it to his co-pilot. "Hold my beer." The co-pilot froze, because humans had a tone when they said those words, a quiet tone, a certain tone, the tone that meant, "This is going to be insane." The Dust Runner turned, not away from the pirates, toward the asteroid field. Pirate scanners laughed at first. "A cargo ship is charging. Fools." Then the human ship entered the rocks. Full speed, no shields, no safety path. Ward moved like the ship was part of his body. He dodged spinning stone by meters. He used the asteroids as cover. Pirate targeting systems could not lock through the debris. Ward fired small mining lasers, not at ships, but at specific asteroids. He shattered them at perfect angles. The broken pieces flew directly into pirate cruisers. Engines exploded. One cruiser lost power. Another collided with debris. A third was struck by its own misfired missile after losing target lock. Within minutes, 3 pirate ships were destroyed. The rest retreated. Silence filled the corridor. Alien commanders stared at their sensors in disbelief. A damaged cargo ship had turned an asteroid belt into a weapon. The drifting transport ship was saved. Thousands survived. Later, during the official report, one line stood out. Audio recording from the human cockpit. 3 words. "Hold my beer." From that day forward, the phrase was added to every galactic database. Warning classification, human extreme action trigger, meaning a human is about to attempt something reckless. Probability of success, unknown. Probability of breaking accepted physics rules, disturbingly high. Because humans did not always follow logic. Sometimes they followed instinct. And when humans trust instinct, the galaxy learns something new. And that is why the galaxy is afraid. Back to the present. Reactor Chamber 7 was shaking like a dying beast. Warning lights flashed red. The floor trembled. The air smelled of burning metal. On every screen, the same message blinked. Core meltdown imminent. The mining colony had less than 3 minutes. Alien engineers were already running toward escape corridors. Some stopped and looked back at the reactor with fear in their eyes. Director Key Fall stood frozen near the control panel. "This is the end," he whispered. Then he saw the human. Technician Daniel Hayes was still walking toward the reactor, not running away, walking toward it. "Human!" Keithall shouted. "Evacuation is mandatory. The core is beyond repair." Daniel did not argue. He did not shout. He simply removed his radiation gloves and dropped them on the floor. The other human nearby held the metal drink container tightly. He knew what was happening. He had heard the words, "Hold my beer." The reactor roared louder. A burst of plasma lightning exploded across the chamber's ceiling. Metal melted. Gravity fluctuations made tools float in the air. Stability, 5%. Keithall's voice broke. "You will die!" Daniel stepped onto the central platform. His boots locked into the magnetic floor. He looked at the reactor core. It was a spinning sphere of unstable blue fire, contained only by weak energy shields. He spoke calmly. "It's not broken. It's just scared." The alien engineer stared at him. What did that even mean? Daniel manually opened the reactor's inner chamber. A blast of radiation hit him immediately. His suit alarm screamed, warning levels critical. Instead of stepping back, he leaned forward. Inside the reactor housing, dozens of power conduits were burned out. The automated systems had shut everything down to prevent overload. That was the problem. The reactor was designed to balance extreme energy through flow. But now energy had nowhere to go. It was trapped, building pressure. Daniel understood something the others did not. The reactor did not need less power. It needed direction. From orbit, battle cruisers watched the output readings. Fleet Commander Varex studied the numbers carefully. "Why are output levels increasing?" an officer asked. Varex narrowed his eyes. "He is rerouting energy." Inside the chamber, Daniel grabbed two exposed power lines. They sparked violently. Electric arcs burned across his suit. He forced the lines together. The reactor screamed. Energy levels jumped. Stability dropped to 2%. In orbit, panic spread. "He's making it worse," an officer shouted. Planetary shields powered to full strength. Evacuation ships launched. Everyone prepared for the explosion. But Daniel kept working. He manually bypassed 3 safety locks. He rerouted power into secondary gravity coils that had never been used at full capacity. Alien engineers watched in disbelief. "That circuit cannot handle that load. He will rupture the containment field." Daniel ignored them. He overcharged the system deliberately. The reactor's blue light turned white, blinding, violent. For one long second, everything went silent. No alarms, no shaking, just light. Then, the reactor stabilized. Energy readings balanced. The violent plasma storms inside the core smoothed into a steady rotation. Stability, 47%, then 68%, then 100. The chamber stopped shaking. Floating tools dropped to the floor. Radiation levels decreased. In orbit, Fleet Commander Varex stared at the data. "Impossible," he whispered. The reactor was not only stable, it was producing double its original output. Cleaner, stronger, more efficient. Daniel had not saved the reactor, he had improved it. Inside the chamber, smoke rose from his suit. Parts of the outer layer had burned black. He slowly stepped down from the platform. Director Keithall approached carefully, like he was looking at a dangerous creature. How did you do that?" Daniel shrugged. It just needed a push. He walked toward his friend, extended his hand. "Can I get my beer back?" Silence filled the chamber. Then, slowly, alien engineers began recording new data, new calculations, new understanding. High Command updated the system logs. Human action classification: reckless, illogical, effective. And across the sector, one message spread quietly. When humans say those 3 words, prepare for change. The Galactic Council chamber was silent, very silent. Dozens of species sat in a circular hall made of crystal and light. Tall beings with armored skin, small beings with glowing eyes, creatures who had ruled star systems for thousands of years. In the center of the chamber floated a single hologram. One sentence glowed in red: "Hold my beer." Below it were hundreds of recorded events. The council had started reviewing history, and they did not like what they were seeing. An elder historian spoke first. Every recorded incident shows the same pattern. A screen displayed footage from the asteroid battle long ago, a human cargo ship flying through chaos, victory from madness. Another screen showed a human engineer restarting a dying star drive by manually entering the core chamber, breakthrough from disaster. Another showed a human soldier redirecting a collapsing shield grid during a planetary invasion, defeat turned into survival. Over and over again, the same three outcomes appeared. A disaster turned into a breakthrough, a defeat turned into victory, a limit was permanently removed. One council member, a tall reptilian ambassador, narrowed his eyes. "They do not simply survive danger." He paused. "They improve it." The room shifted uneasily, because that was true. Humans did not only fix problems, they changed them. They treated reality like it was flexible, like it could be pushed, bent, tested. Most species avoided chaos. Chaos meant loss. Chaos meant death. But humans leaned into chaos. They stepped closer when others stepped back. A recording from the reactor incident played again, the moment when Daniel overcharged the failing system, energy rising beyond safe limits, alarms screaming, and then stability. The chief scientist of the council spoke quietly. "The reactor should have exploded." "Yes," another replied, "but it did not." "Why?" Silence. Then the historian answered, "Because the human believed it could survive." That was the hidden pattern, not strength, not technology, not even intelligence alone. It was belief. When humans said those three words, they were not saying, "I am foolish." They were saying, "I see something others do not. I believe there is another way. Even if that way looked insane, even if the numbers said it would fail, even if everyone else said stop, humans said, I know this is crazy, and I'm doing it anyway." A small avian council member trembled slightly. "That mindset is dangerous." The reptilian ambassador responded slowly, "Yes, but it is also powerful." Empires were built on safety, on careful planning, on avoiding risk. Humans were different. They accepted risk as part of progress. They treated impossible odds like a personal challenge. Asteroid fields were shortcuts. Broken reactors were puzzles to solve. Enemy fleets were problems to solve. To humans, limits were suggestions, and that idea terrified the galaxy. The council finally reached a quiet understanding. The phrase was not about recklessness. It was not random bravery. It was confidence, a deep, unshakable confidence that something could be done differently, and that belief alone could change outcomes. One elder member spoke softly. "If this continues, humanity will not simply adapt to the galaxy, they will reshape it." No one argued, because the evidence was clear. Every time a human said those three words, the rules changed. And if the rules can change, then no empire is truly safe. The hologram flickered again. The red letters glowed brighter. "Hold my beer." In the silence of the chamber, every species felt the same thing. Not hatred, not anger, fear. Because humans did not fear chaos, they mastered it. And that is what terrifies empires.
After the reactor event, the Galactic Council did not argue. They did not panic. They did not blame humanity. Instead, they studied the data. For 12 continuous hours, the Council reviewed every reading from the mining colony. Energy spikes, radiation levels, system failures,
and the exact moment the human overcharged the core. Every calculation showed the same result. The reactor should have exploded. The colony should have been destroyed. Thousands should have died. But none of that happened. Instead, the reactor stabilized. It became stronger, more efficient, safer than before. That was when the Council understood something important. Humans were not a threat in the normal sense. They were something else. The final vote was unanimous. Threat level maximum would no longer mean prepare for destruction. It would now mean prepare for transformation. Because when humans say, "Hold my beer," the galaxy does not face extinction. It faces change. And change spreads faster than fear. On the mining colony, the reactor room was quiet now. Soft blue light glowed steadily from the upgraded core. Engineers walked around it carefully, still unsure how it worked better than before. Director Cathal stood beside Daniel Hayes. The alien supervisor studied the human for a long moment. Daniel looked normal. Average height, burn marks still visible on his repair suit, holding his metal drink container like nothing unusual had happened. Cathal finally spoke. "Why do you say that phrase?" Daniel raised one eyebrow. "What phrase?" "You know the phrase." Daniel smiled slightly. "Oh, that." He took a small sip. "It means, I think I can do something fun." Cathal blinked slowly. "Fun?" "Yes. You risked total destruction." Daniel shrugged. "Yeah, but it was interesting." The alien supervisor looked at the repaired reactor, then at the orbiting battle fleet still waiting above the planet, then back at the human calmly drinking his beverage. For the first time, Cathal understood something deeper. Humans did not act out of madness. They acted out of curiosity. They saw danger as a question, and they wanted to know the answer. Later, in his private office, Director Cathal recorded a secure message to the Galactic Council. His voice was steady now. "Recommend update to Central Database." He paused before finishing. "New classification. Humanity. High risk, high reward." The message was transmitted across secure channels. It was approved within minutes. From that day forward, the official description of humanity changed. Not fragile, not reckless, not primitive. Adaptive, innovative, dangerous in the most productive way possible. But the story did not end there. Far from the mining colony, deep in unexplored space, a research vessel floated near a controlled black hole experiment. The gravity distortions were unstable. Energy readings fluctuated unpredictably. Scientists from multiple species monitored the data carefully. They were cautious, slow, precise. Inside the control room stood a human pilot. He stared at the swirling darkness on the main screen. The black hole pulsed strangely, like it was reacting to something. One of the alien scientists spoke nervously. "We should reduce output. The singularity is behaving abnormally." The human tilted his head, studied the pattern. Then he slowly removed his drink from the console. He handed it to the person next to him. "Hold my beer." The room went silent. The alien scientist froze. Did he just... Across 3 star systems, automatic sensors detected abnormal gravitational spikes. Defense satellites activated. Warning systems lit up. Galactic threat level, maximum. And this time, the Council did not prepare for destruction. They prepared for transformation. Because somewhere in the dark, a human had just decided to try something interesting. Fade out.